Hello, and here we go again with section 7, 8. I'm going to do a few of these together. This is very similar to 7, 7, but instead of multiplying or dividing fractions, or rational expressions, we're adding and subtracting, which makes it a little bit more complicated because multiplying, you can simply multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. When you're adding and subtracting, we need to get common denominators first. Okay, so just a reminder, how do you add or subtract fractions together? First, you have to get common denominators. Okay, and we're going to say before we do that, we're going to first factor everything possible. Okay, so notice we did all that work at the beginning of this chapter on factoring, and it leads to this. It's going to make it easier to add and subtract these, find common denominators, and so on and so forth if we factor everything first. After we factor, just a reminder how you add or subtract fractions together. You add or subtract the numerators, and you leave the denominators alone. And then you simplify everything. Now, the last thing we're going to do, I'll just put a number 4 because for our purposes, not part of adding and subtracting fractions, but you're also going to state any restrictions on the variables. Okay, so I'm going to work through a few of these together, watch as many as you feel you need to watch, and then work through the rest of them, and I'll post the answer key. Okay, so we're going to do, I think I want to do number 1, 3, 5, and 6 together. Okay, so first, it doesn't look like there's one thing that we can factor here, the 2x minus 4. So we've got a 5y plus 2, we've got an xy squared plus, and we've got a 2 times x minus 2 and a 4xy. Now, what is your least common denominator? Your LCD. Well, here we've got an x, here we've got an x. Here we've got a y, but we've got a y squared there, so we know we need y squared. We need 2 y's, and we need a 4. So our least common denominator is going to be 4x y squared. Okay, so this fraction needs a 4. To get to 4xy squared, we just need a 4, so multiply by 4 over 4. Okay, this one, 4xy squared, we need another y, so we're going to multiply by y over y. Okay, and we get our denominator is going to be 4xy squared. And here we're going to multiply everything out because we didn't need to factor this. We need to factor the denominators primarily. Okay, but we're going to get 20y plus 8. And we distribute that 4 to the 5y plus 2. And then we've got 2y times x minus 2. Or really the y gets multiplied by the 2x minus 4. Okay, maybe I confused you there. Let's leave that as 2x minus 4. 2x minus 4 times y, so we get 2xy minus 4y. Right now, our only restrictions, x cannot be 0 and y cannot be 0. So x cannot be 0, y cannot be 0. Okay, and can we simplify anything in the numerator? 20y minus 4y gives you 16y. And then we've got a plus 8 plus 2xy. And then we've got a 4xy squared. Now, are we done? Well, we're almost done. But the only thing we can factor a common factor out of the numerator. We can factor out a 2. So 2 times 8y plus 4 plus xy. On the bottom, we've got 4xy squared. And the 2 can reduce with the 4. That'll become a 2. And we've got 8y plus 4 plus xy over 2xy squared. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one, number 3. We've got a 3y. We want to factor everything, y minus 5, y plus 5. Okay, minus 8 over, well, now this is 5 minus y, which almost matches this, but if we factor a negative 1 out of there, then we get the y minus 5 to match. If you factor a negative 1 out of 5 minus y, you've got negative 1 times negative 5 plus y, or y minus 5. That helps because now you've got a common factor of y minus 5. And this minus 1 can come out in front of the fraction, and the minus and the second minus a negative, will become a positive. So we get 3y over y minus 5, y plus 5, and we get plus 8 over y minus 5. Okay. So our least common denominator, if you want to state that, least common denominator is going to be y minus 5 times y plus 5. And our restrictions, x cannot equal positive 5 or negative 5. Okay, so to get common denominators, this one's going to need a y plus 5, so we'll multiply by y plus 5 over y plus 5. Remember, that's our clever form of 1. Now our denominator is y minus 5, y plus 5, and then we've got 3y plus 8y plus 40, which gives us 11y plus 40, which does not factor any further, and then y minus 5, y plus 5. Okay. Okay, let's go down to the next one. 5x over x squared minus x minus 6. So we've got 5x over, let's factor that. That's x minus 3, x plus 2, and then minus 4 over x plus 2, x plus 2. Okay, so we knew x cannot equal negative 2 and positive 3. Okay, our least common denominator is going to be, we need an x minus 3, and we need 2x plus 2's. So x minus 3, x plus 2, x plus 2. Okay, so this one needs another x plus 2, so we'll multiply by x plus 2 over x plus 2. This one needs the x minus 3, so x minus 3 over x minus 3. And our common denominator is going to be x plus 2 times x plus 2. We can call it x plus 2 squared, and then x minus 3. Now, when we distribute this, that's going to be 5x squared plus 10x. And then this is going to be minus 4x, so minus the quantity 4x minus 12. Be careful with that because we're subtracting this entire thing, 4x minus 12, so that has to distribute. So we've got 5x squared plus 10x minus 4x plus 12 over x plus 2 squared times x minus 3. And simplify, we're going to get 5x squared plus 6x plus 12 over x plus 2 squared times x minus 3. Now, does this thing factor? So we got to figure out if that thing factors. So we could do some trial and error. Let's just try it real quick, see if something works out. This would have to be 5x and x. These could be a 3 and a 4. They could be a 12 and a 1. They could be a 6 and a 2. What if we had a 6 and a 2? That would give us 10x and 6. No. What about a 3 and a 4? 4, 3. So that would give us... Nope. How about a 12 and a 1? I don't think that works either. Remember the way we can figure out if something factors? If the discriminant is a perfect square. So let's find the discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. So that's going to be 36 minus 4 times 5 times 12. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to factor. That's going to be 36 minus 20 times 12 is 240. And that is certainly not a perfect square. Okay, so that doesn't factor. Okay, and those are only 2 restrictions. Okay, and let's do one more. It does not seem to be. You see that better? Gosh, that's worse. Okay. So let's go to this one. We're going to factor everything on the bottom. So we've got a 5y over, we can factor a y out of there. So y times y minus 7. Then minus 4 over, we can factor out a 2 here, 2 times y minus 7. And then plus 9 over y. So our least common denominator is going to be, we need a y minus 7, we need a 2. 2, y minus 7. I think we got everything there, right? So this one is going to need a 2. So we'll multiply this one by 2 over 2. This one needs a y, so we'll multiply by y over y. This one needs a 2 and a y minus 7. 2, y minus 7, 2, y minus 7.